here we are again. It's always such a pleasure. Remember when you tried to kill me twice?
I'm in space.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, bringing you Chapter 2, The Cold Boot, in my Portal 2 video walkthrough. And this is when the puzzling starts getting a little bit more tricky, because you've got both sides of your portal weapon. I say weapon, it's more of a travelling device than anything else, and everything just gets a little bit more tricky. And the mechanic they're introducing now is the laser mechanic, where the laser beam goes into those black, crater-like metallic plates, and they generally either open a door, raise a platform, and do various different features like that. So now you're going to be doing a couple of puzzles related to that, involving various different techniques that you should already know, having played Portal 1. And for the most, it's kind of simple. Just watch what I do, because I want to talk about something a little different. I will chime back in if it's something that's a nuisance or something that you need to know, but for pretty much most of it, it's pretty simple, so just follow what I do. But I was just, once again, I'm commentating in my conservatory, and the TV's on the background, and I just had The Game, a movie that I love a lot. It's a movie starring Michael Douglas. It's also got Sean Penn in it, before he was, so far up his own arse, he was a human suppository. But it's a really, really good film. It's a dark film, it's an interesting film, and it's got a fantastic twist. And it's directed by a guy called David Fincher. And if you don't know who he is, he's most recently known for the Social Network that he did, which is another fantastic film. He also did Seven, I think he did Fight Club. And his films are always pretty interesting. They've always got a unique twist. They're always just interesting and cool films. He's got a good eye to what he achieves on screen. And The Game is about a businessman who's, he's very rich. He's kind of lost touch with what life's really about, with what makes him happy, aside from, the daily grind of doing what he's always kind of had to do, and being in this position where it's all he really has, because you'd think with everything that he does have, with his wealth, with everything he's ever achieved, he'd be happy, but he isn't. And he gets a birthday present, which is an experience, which is called The Game. And he doesn't really think too much about it at first, until shit gets real. And he ends up falling into this massive web of violence, conspiracy, and he doesn't know who to trust, he doesn't know where to turn. Everything is a lie, nothing is true. It's just paranoia, just all sorts of madness, and it is a fantastic film. It's got some crazy set pieces, and some really warped stuff happens, and it's also got one of those twists that you just kind of go, fuck me, how awesome is that? And if you've never seen it, I recommend it highly, because it's a film that keeps you wanting to watch. It keeps you guessing, it keeps you asking questions, and at the end, you get everything you want. You don't feel like it's cheated you in any way, and you look back and you just think, that is a good film. And it is. But that last test room I had to do just there, I jumped to shoot the portal down. It was a little bit of a hop, and it can be an awkward angle, but that's just how I did it that time. And one thing I'm going to say about this game is, there are a few ways to do these puzzles. The changes in them are subtle, with where you put your portal and how you approach the situation and all that kind of stuff. And my methods are probably going to be different to yours, if there is other ways of doing it. And it's just a case of, there is no right way to do these puzzles. Approach them however you want to try them, and if it works out for you and you find that solution, then awesome. Sometimes, we all get to the same answer, just in different ways. And this one's a little interesting as well, and I think there's one or two more puzzles like it, where you manipulate your portals to use the laser to move these bridges. And obviously when you disconnect the connection, the bridge stops moving. And a word of warning, if the companion cube touches that laser, it will disintegrate. And when it disintegrates, you'll have to get it again. And that is really frustrating, so you don't want that to happen. Another thing that this guide won't be is a key to all the secret achievements, because there is a shit ton of stuff you can miss. I beat the game and I only got like 100 G because there's all little offshoots and little fucking sneaky corridors where you could examine stuff and get 5 and 10 G achievements, and I missed a whole bunch. But the luxury of that is I'm going to be going back and getting that in another playthrough, because this game is real fun. Really fun. But just keep pushing forward, keep using your portals, keep doing your thing. And that right there is a jump platform, which you'll recognise if you've ever played Quake and Unreal Tournament and all those crazy old school shooters. And what this is all about is you've got to jump just in time to catch the companion cube in midair. You'll see there, did it first time, which is pretty unique because it can be a little bit fussy, but as you're going over, just hold the X button and you should grab it without too much trouble. That is not a challenging room. And the pacing of this game is an interesting thing to talk about as well, because it does have good pacing. Every so often you're introduced to a new facet or a new subtle change to the gameplay, and with this new dynamic comes new puzzles, and then you explore them for a while, and then you move on to the next change, and it generally then dictates that you'll get into an area that has them all, and it's a mix and match of all those elements. And the elements I'm speaking of, at the start, it's obviously when you have the 1 portal, then you get the 2 portal, then you meet the jump plates, you meet the lasers, you meet all that kind of stuff. And in a little while, we're going to be introduced to the light bridges, which is a really cool new feature, which I like a lot. And then after that, it is obviously the orange juice that makes you really fast when you run on it, and the blue juice that makes you bounce when you land on it. And they use them to really good effect. There's also the white juice at the end. But this one's nice and simple, because once you've done that little trick with the portals to get across here, you go and press this button, and it's going to fire a load of junk at you. And the first wave of junk doesn't really do anything. If you put your portal up there, when they go through the slanted platform across, they will drop down from the portal onto the button. The only problem is, you've got to wait for all the trash to move. So once all this stuff has bounced away, see, it doesn't open the door. I thought it was as well. I thought I was getting a bit cheeky. But once that's done, if you press the button again, it'll release a companion cube, and that will solve the puzzle. And then you can proceed to the next room. Get that shit bouncing about. But I was watching a program earlier that was like about holiday reps abroad, and it shows you some of the ignorant fucking people that go to these foreign countries and completely act like idiots and retards and assholes, and give the country where they came from a really bad name. And I know it's something that young people do, and it's one of those things where you can't help it. You're on holiday, you have a good time, but at the same time, you're flying a flag for wherever you come from, and you're just fucking ignorant if you think that you don't have to, abide by social and moral conventions. It's like, just fucking grow up. I mean, there's this one guy who's just hit 21, and he did this big speech about how he knows he's going to get the ladies now because he's more mature, he's more well developed, and he's just going to be like this fucking pussy magnet. And the dude's hands were dragging on the fucking floor. It's like, I wouldn't trust that guy to clean my shit up, let alone go near the female species. And it's like, dude, if you're not pulling girls with your ability to converse and actually be a gentleman or a decent, catch when you're 19, being 21 ain't gonna make a fucking difference. It just means that you're a social retard. And you probably grew up on Adam Sandler films where treating women like dog shit made it work, but it doesn't actually work that way in real life. So yeah, it's a tough lesson for you, buddy, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. So once again, more platform nonsense, more, using your companion cube, and there's a nice little laser beam down there. Oh, and I'm getting stuck between the portals, which is always funny when you can't get out of that flip. But here I go, fall through with the box, it fires you across, you can drop that on the plate, and then you can change the portal to that one, so you can flip across there. And it's just elements that you know and love from the first portal, just shown in a different way. And if you can remember the things that made you good or got you through the first portal, then you'll probably get through this one kind of quick. But I'm trying to think back. There was maybe 3 chambers that got me stuck for longer than 10 minutes, and one of them was because I was overthinking it, and I didn't realise you could put a portal on the plate that something was happening to, and that was just my stupidity. And the other two were ones where I really had to think about what the fuck was going on, because they got complicated towards the end, and I just couldn't wrap my brain around the mechanic. But I can honestly say, and I can proudly say, I didn't use GameFAQs, I didn't use the internet or cheat on any of the solutions to the chambers. I struggled through them, even when I got to that point where I wanted to turn the game off because I was getting annoyed. I got through them, and I would definitely say do the same, because this game is everything. This game is like, it's like a fucking quiz. If you know the answer to a question in a quiz, it's easy. If you don't, it can be the hardest thing you'll ever do. And this is the exact same. Oh, by the way, if you go through the force field with the cube like I did just then, like a retard, it will disintegrate. And what I should have done is gone through a portal with the cube. I just messed up, but I thought I'd keep it in to humanise the guide a little bit more, because you're going to make mistakes when you play this game. You're going to think you've got the solution, and you might be very close, but you're still missing that, that one concise moment that makes it just flow. But yeah, I didn't use a guide, and I was really happy for it. And as I was saying with the fancy metaphors and everything, this game is one of the most fulfilling games I've ever played for when you figure it out, because it makes perfect sense. It's one of those where an impossible situation can suddenly feel simple, and it really is like a renaissance moment. It's an epiphany, and it's a great feeling. It's really satisfying. But that is the end of Chapter 2, people. I hope it's helping. Thanks for watching. Remember to like if you're one of those people, and the more likes I get, the better everyone is. And as always, you take care now.